Oh gosh, I have to crack up. This is so delayed here on the YouTube channel. Oh my gosh. I have to re-sign in. Hello.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I had the wrong link and I was waiting somewhere else.
It's
I was
fine.
like,
I literally had your note takers come and try to sign in, but I generally don't allow them because
that's fine.
several times my recording then didn't work.
It's fine. Don't worry. I was
Perfect.
like, what is going on? And then it has a little note there. This meeting is tomorrow. I'm like, oh my God, in the wrong meeting.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, okay, perfect.
No, it wasn't
I'm
you.
thinking about trying to do live stream on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when I got on there, I used to do it on Facebook a lot. It was repeating back to me, like
Oh, you
delayed.
get like an echo thing. That's so distracting.
I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah. No, and that's so distracting too because you're like listening to yourself like a second
And then
later.
how
Yeah.
could you even focus on what you're going
Mhm.
to say to your guest? I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to figure out. What I figured out with Facebook is I just had to close it after I opened it and it was still recording.
Oh, wow.
Kind of
So you gotta be
crazy.
careful what you say
I
afterwards.
was just like, I think, well, no, I mean, I knew it was recording. You
Okay.
just had to turn it off
Okay.
so that you didn't have to hear yourself the whole entire time. Okay, I am excited to interview you.
I'm super
Um,
excited.
we'll roll for about 30, 40 minutes. And do you have anything that you want to offer the audience today?
I have a workbook that I can send you the link that I usually give away. If you
Okay.
want it, I'll send you the link.
Maybe put it in
Let me see. In
the
the chat?
chat.
I can put it in the chat. Hold on.
Okay. And then just say it at the end again, because my note taker will also take it down.
Oh, yeah.
And then I will, when we're all done, I have to like run, so I don't want to be rude. So I just wanted to tell you.
Don't worry. So good.
But then your clip I'll tag you on Instagram. Do you have I didn't get your one sheet. Do you have like social handles and
Yeah, you didn't get it? They
Mm-mm.
didn't send it to you. Okay, no worries. I'm copying everything on the chat. Yeah, that's so weird. They didn't give you my one sheet. Okay,
And
there
if
you
you
go.
can send me, I'm info@sisterhoodofsweat.com.
Okay, but it's right there in the chat, so you can just grab it. You want me to send it?
Yeah. If you can send me 3 photos too,
Okay, okay. Let me make a
um,
note.
and a short bio.
I can't believe they didn't send you this. 3 photos
No, it was more
and
like a pitch, and then I didn't get anything else.
okay,
And if I did, I don't know. I don't see it when I was looking you up earlier
that's okay.
to do my questions. All right.
What is your email address again?
It is info@sisterhoodofsweat.com.
Okay. Sisterhood. Okay.
But I know we're going to nail this topic because I was just talking about it way too much. This is synchronicity.
I don't even know what we're going to talk about because they didn't tell me. So I'm like, I'm going to wing it.
Well, it's going to be your topic for your podcast. Don't shrink.
Okay, perfect. I
Yeah,
love that.
it's right up your alley. Okay, I think I have everything set. Let me just make sure that I've pulled you up. Okay. I did look you up so that I wasn't completely in the dark. Okay. I think I'll go ahead and introduce you. Is it Noriega-Bernstein?
Noriega.
Noriega.
Yeah.
Got it. Perfect. I like it. Okay. Here we go. Welcome to the Sisterhood of Sweat. I am here today with Claudia Noriega-Bernstein. Welcome back to the Sisterhood of Sweat, where we talk about perseverance, purpose, and living your best life. Today's conversation is for every woman who has ever felt like she had to shrink herself to fit into someone else's expectations. What if the very things you've been told to tone down are actually your greatest strengths? Our guest today is Claudia Noriega-Bernstein, an award-winning author, inner abundance coach, philanthropist, and host of the podcast Don't Shrink to Fit. After early success in television, Claudia found herself rebuilding her life as a single mom, navigating identity resilience, and rediscovering who she truly was beneath the noise. Today,
Mhm.
she helps women break free from limiting beliefs, step into authenticity, and create a life. Ooh, I got chills, that actually feels aligned. That is going to be this today. It's going to be a powerful conversation. Welcome, Claudia, to the show.
Thank you so much, Linda. I'm so happy to be here with you. And this is like my jam. It's so juicy. And even when we know what that means, we need the reminder.
I mean, we so need a reminder, but I cannot tell you how timely this whole topic of don't shrink to fit is. I just literally, every once in a while, we need to be reminded of who we are.
Mhm.
And I was listening back to some of my Let It Rip podcasts, and it was just like, I don't know, a year, 2 years ago. And it really spoke to me. I'm like, did I say that? But what it really spoke to me about not trying to fit a box that somebody wants to put you in,
Mhm.
not shrinking who God created you to be so somebody else feels comfortable, and owning and stepping into your power. What does don't shrink to fit really mean to you in your own life?
For me, it's not really becoming somebody new. It's kind of like I'm becoming what the world told me I needed to be and find myself in the process. Because we have this misunderstanding about belonging and fitting in. You know, we think that to be part of something, we have to fit in and we have to change ourselves and become somebody that we're not. So we are like everybody else in that niche, group, tribe, whatever you want to call it. And I was in one moment in my life when I said, wait a minute, I have been taught that love is a trade-in for being somebody that I'm not. And I am not giving myself permission for that anymore. This is it. And it stops with me because I have three daughters. So the conditioning that I received from my lineage, right, from my mother, my grandmother, and so on, is what I was teaching my kids. And it's a good thing that I have that aha moment when they were very little. And I'm like, no, no, this is not going to be passed on. I am going to allow myself to be and feel whoever I want to be and whatever I want to feel, even if that's going to ruffle the feathers around me a little bit. So that was pretty much the beginning of me claiming my power back and restart my journey, not really from the beginning, but with everything that I have learned up to that day.
So the other thing that I just had on that is such synchronicity was I had on Zoe Lister Jones talking about the miniature wife. She's
Mm.
in the miniature wife, which is on Peacock. And it was just the podcast before this.
Ah,
So I have to laugh because it's like the universe gives you messages that it wants you to receive, and then you share it with the world. And it is really that you're not too loud, you're not too much, you're not too shiny, you're not too sparkly, you're not too sassy. Being you is enough. And it takes bravery to
yeah.
claim your space in the world as yourself.
Hmm.
But isn't that when authenticity rolls in?
Yeah, 100%. But you also have to read the room and you have to see where you're asking for what you're asking. Don't go to McDonald's and ask for a filet mignon. You're not going to get it, right? So you have to really realize, okay, where I am in my life, who am I surrounding myself with? And are these people aligned with who I want to become? Or am I going to have to change myself to be part of this? So everything comes down to who you are within. Start claiming your power, start recognizing who you are, start loving yourself, claim your divine mother within yourself and say, this is not for me. I want more. I want different. And I don't have to dim my light so somebody else can feel comfortable about themselves. So, pretty much putting yourself as a priority and putting the oxygen mask, like in the plane, on you first. And that for me, for the longest time, was being selfish, right? You're selfish if you take care of yourself. You're selfish if you're not the mom that eat the burnt toast. I don't want the burnt toast. I
Oh
want
my
the good
gosh, you're
toast.
using my exact phrase that is actually in my book.
Oh wow, I didn't
Literally,
read your
stop.
book.
You're
Sorry, I
so
need to read
eating.
it.
Yes, I'll have to send you a copy. You're eating the burnt toast, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like you're saying you're eating the crumbs and you're giving everyone else the best. That's how women in this country and in other countries, that is what we were taught.
Right.
And
And
so
and I'm
you're
gonna tell you
doing
what's
it.
the little tricky thing here. When you are hungry, you're gonna eat the crumbs because you just wanna fill your stomach, right? You're gonna
Yeah,
eat anything. The
right.
same way that we are information junkies, right? When we're hungry in our brain, we're gonna eat whatever junk we can get out of the world. So you got to be able to feed yourself, to nourish yourself. So then you're not hungry and you don't end up eating the junk outside.
And if you've been eating the junk for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
the crumbs, give
Right?
yourself a little time to transition because people are used to you eating the crumbs. And
Exactly.
when you start honoring yourself as a person that has the right to eat a nice piece of toast,
Right.
they're going to feel, oh, you're selfish. Oh, you put yourself first because they're used to you putting them first.
Yeah, yeah. And at the beginning, probably your voice is going to be shaking. Probably you're going to talk soft, and you're going to say, no, thank you. Little by little, we start creating and finding evidence that we can put in our brain to support the fact that yes, I am meant for more and I get to ask for more and it's okay to ask for more. So don't let that beginning, to hold you back and keep you in escrow. You're not supposed to be in escrow. You're supposed to be getting what is for you. You're supposed to become a magnet for everything that is available for you. But that is a conversation we have in the mirror with ourselves. And it has a lot to do with our habits, with the way we speak to ourselves, with what we allowed in our
You
brain
just
and
took
in
that
our
right
life.
out of my brain. I was just
Yeah,
thinking that with what we allow, with what
what
we
we allow.
tolerate, with what we think we're worthy of, with
Yeah,
what we give somebody permission to take away, like some sort of autonomy that, and then you start realizing, wait a minute, where did all my independence go?
right. Because we
And
edit ourselves.
yeah,
We
we
start
totally
editing
do.
ourselves. So,
Yes.
oh, okay, I'm gonna take this part out so this person doesn't feel uncomfortable. And I'm not gonna say this, so then I'm gonna be the good girl that my mom wants me to be. Or I'm not gonna be too successful so my partner doesn't feel threatened. Like, what? No. Why? Who wrote that rule? Who's the author of that story? Because if you're not the author of your story, then you are living somebody else's story. That's not fair.
Well, I talked a lot about gifts today, not burying your gifts like my dogs bury their bone
Mm-hmm.
because you are afraid to use them. You are afraid. You're afraid that you're going to make this your spouse feel uncomfortable because
Right.
you're being powerful when you're using your gift.
Mm-hmm.
You're afraid that you're going to alienate other people that don't feel comfortable with you being you because you've been showing up in a different role. And so, my dog likes to taunt the other dog. She likes to bury her bones. We have Pumpkin and Snickers. One's a golden doodle, one's a schnoodle. They like to, antagonize each other. She hides her bone and then Snickers goes to try to
Yeah.
find it. But I'm just telling people, don't bury your bone today and don't let your gifts die within you because at the end of time, we're going to give an account for the
Mm-hmm.
gifts we were given. Were we
Yeah.
too afraid to use them? Did we bury them because we were too afraid to show up as our unique selves?
Yes. But it's also with a permission, right? You got to give yourself permission. You really
So
have to go
much.
within and say, okay, wait, why am I feeling stuck? Why am I feeling unfulfilled? Who am I going to blame for this? You don't get to blame anyone because those were your choices. And it doesn't matter where you were born. It's always the one that wants it the most, the one that gets it.
Ah,
Circumstances are going to change for everyone. And I've been in both parts of the spectrum. I was born very comfortable in my country. And then when I was a single mom, I didn't have money to feed my kids. So I've been in both places. And now I have a successful business. So the circumstances did not define me. If something, when I found, stones in the way,
mhm.
I figure out, okay, what this is trying to teach me because
Mhm.
I would not be bumping into this if I would not be capable to overcome this. But you have also the option of being, the victim and, oh, this is all happening to me and I don't know what I'm going to do with my life
And
because,
hopeless and
nobody's going to come and rescue me. No, nobody's going to come and
right.
rescue you. You're totally equipped to rescue yourself, but you got to give yourself permission.
And you also have to prepare yourself for pushback when you ask for what you want,
Exactly. Exactly.
especially if you are in a partnership, a relationship, a friendship. You could get pushback. And don't let that make you then, just because you got a little pushback. I mean, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want this thing? How bad do you want to show up as yourself? How bad do you want to keep from shrinking? What made you realize that you were shrinking in your own life and how did you reclaim it?
When, first of all, I started realizing who I was having around me, and I was like, okay, I need people that I admire to, that I look up to. And if I don't have those people, we meet people um, at the psychological level of their wounds, right? And those people are going to live our life, or we are going to live their life when we heal because they're not aligned with us anymore. So when I started realizing that I was working on myself, I was healing, and I was not feeling comfortable with the people around me, I really stopped in my tracks, and I was like, wait a minute, there is something here that is not working. So I have been, or I have become somebody that I am not, that I'm not authentically myself, because I want to hang out with these people and I have this emotional attachment to these people and I don't want to leave them behind. And I have made my job to save them, from themselves. And that is not my job. My job is to take care of myself. My job is to grow. My job is to be the better version of me. That is my job. Everything else is noise and distraction. So the moment that I understood that, and I understood that I had wounds, and I was a lot of times making choices because they were trauma responses, I started looking more deep into myself. And I didn't react anymore. I choose. It wasn't like, I'm going to do this because I want to have more and I want to this. And no, no, no. It's okay. That's not for me right now. I'm not ready for that. Rejection has got protection. So I'm okay with that. I'm going to trust the process and I am going to work in what I can work right now. And then when that situation comes again, I'm going to see if I can handle the situation better than the way I handled it before. So it was a process, Lina. It wasn't something that one day I woke up and say, oh, I'm cured. I'm fine now. Now I'm going to embrace the world. No.
It's a
And I
huge
had a lot of
process.
setbacks. I'm sorry?
It's a huge, huge process.
It's a huge process. Nothing happens overnight. And you have to be patient with yourself because you're going to mess up and you're going to go back to your old ways
You're going to
because that's what is
react,
comfortable. Mm-hmm.
get your emotions hijacked.
Yeah,
And what you learn is rather to respond, not react,
exactly.
to ask yourself, how is this actually working for me?
Mm-hmm.
And, like you said, what lesson can I learn from this? And how can I never put myself in this position again? Would be another question we might ask ourselves.
Right.
Because sometimes
We
we're
do.
in the position because we put ourselves there, because we gave someone else permission to
Right.
put us there.
Right.
So I love the whole permission thing because again, we're not born with permission slips. So we don't have to hand them out to everybody to get permission to live our
Mm-hmm.
life. And we, as soon as we realize that and we start owning it and we start being afraid of, I think a lot of times we're afraid of what we might lose.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And generally is the people that
it
is
is.
in our
It's the
lives.
people.
So,
Yes,
for
the
me,
relationship,
I
the
started to
lifestyle.
creating policies where we're like other people call it boundaries. I learned that from a friend of mine long time ago. I have policies. So I'm not going to sign up for this because my policies doesn't allow me to sign up for this. I'm not going to sign up for drama. I'm not going to sign up for gossip. I'm not going to sign up for toxicity. And I'm going to set my policies clear enough so then when I am facing those situations, I know I'm not allowing it. People say you teach people how you want to be treated. Yes, by treating them that way. That's how you teach them. And by the way you are showing up. So those are little tweaks that you do every single day. And you go back to step one sometimes, many times, until that step one is embodied. Then you take the step two, and you probably gonna derail a little bit, but then you go back to that step two until that step two is embodied. And that's how I did it, little by little. And while I was in my process, my daughters were growing. So sometimes I talk to them and it says, we feel that we have five moms because you were never the same mom, you evolve as we were growing, but that also give us the opportunity to see a billboard of possibilities. Because if mom can grow and change and evolve and become her better version at 30, at 40, at 50, so do I. I don't have to be stuck with what I am and what I have right now. I get to evolve. I get to learn. I get to change my mind. I get to not be friend with this person anymore. I get to stop loving somebody because I'm not in love with you anymore. And that's okay. I was talking with somebody for my podcast today, and she said to me, I marry a nice guy. Is that enough for you? There is a lot of nice people in the world, but don't you want more? Don't you want the passion? Don't you want the excitement? Don't you want the butterflies in your stomach? I know it's not gonna
Sure.
last forever. I mean, I've been married 20 years, but I still have the hearts for my husband, and I still want to spend time with him. So nice for me is not enough. Of course, I want a man that is nice or a partner that is nice, but nice is not enough.
And
So
so
when you
holding
know
on to
that,
them.
yeah, and I'm gonna tell you one of my things that I have in my book. I didn't even know, I don't even remember if I told you that I wrote a book. It was a bestseller last July, but I wrote 88 lessons because I got divorced when my youngest one was 11 months old, and I had cancer. And it's a whole journey, which I talk about it in my book. But my ex-husband, the father of my kids, which was a very good friend of mine for many, many years, passed away 5 years ago. And I got COVID really bad, and I thought I was gonna die. So I thought, oh my gosh, my kids are gonna be orphans. Even though I'm married with my husband, they lost their father, now they're gonna lose their mother. So I decided to write this book. And one of the lessons that I have in my book, there are 88 lessons. One of the lessons is you stop, when you know your value, you stop giving discounts. Simple as that. And when I learned my value, I literally stopped giving discounts. No longer, this is not a negotiation anymore. It's not that if I give you this, would you do that? No, sorry. And I think that comes with age, though. You're not capable to do that in your 20s, but when you're a little older, you're like, no, thank you. I'm not available for that.
I love the phrase I'm not available for that. And if you're holding on to something and you're afraid to lose it, you're probably limiting yourself from who you might be able to become. And so let's address what kind of limited beliefs did you have before and how did you evolve and grow from that?
I used to believe that I had to work for love, that I had to be deserving of love. And that's what was making me shrinking, right? Because I was becoming somebody that I wasn't, just so I could feel loved and accepted.
So good.
And the way I started realizing that was not recognizing myself. Like, who have I become? Who is this person that is looking back at me in the mirror?
You to recognize yourself.
Yeah, I was like, who are you? Who
It's not
are
what you
you?
really believe, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it was like, who are you? Like, what? Or, I remember one time I was moving with my daughters and I found those plastic containers where I had put a bunch of clothes in there. And for some reason, that container was in the garage and was never open. And because it got, messed up in the moving. And I opened it and I found clothes that I haven't worn in so long. And I'm like, oh, I remember this girl. I remember what she used to wear. I remember what she used to like. And I started to miss her because she was so much somebody that I wasn't anymore. Because I had allowed the world to tell me who I needed to be to receive that love that I wanted so badly. I mean, I grew up with a lot of things, Linda, but my mom wasn't really emotionally available.
Mm.
So my whole life, I was chasing for that acceptance and that validation and that love and that, and fixing everybody and being available and not being the squeaky wheel. So I became somebody that I wasn't. I was a shadow of who I really was meant to be. And really going deep and journaling and asking and getting curious and wait, what do I think that? Do I really think that? Who's the author of that thought? Where is that limiting belief coming from? Who has created for me? And why did I adopt it? How desperate I was to feel loved and accepted that I just sign up for something like
You
this.
thought you had to earn it.
Yeah, I had to work for it.
We've had the same lesson. My mom, this very similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
And the lesson of that I even did a talk before I lifted one finger because I lift, and that was kind of went with before I had one accolade,
Mm-hmm.
before I won one trophy, before all of the things, I was already worthy. I didn't have to earn worthiness because God put his stamp of approval on me when he created me.
Right.
And he said, well done. He said that about all of y'all. You're his masterpiece. And so, like what Claudia said, it is knowing your value no matter what. If somebody
Mm-hmm.
had a $20 bill and they rip that up and they stomp on it,
Still a $20 bill.
tape it back together, it's still a $20 bill. It
Yeah.
still has $20 worth of value.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just realizing somebody might have spit upon you, they might have stomped on you.
Mm-hmm.
Shake yourself off, dust yourself off, get back up, and remember who you are today because you are valuable. If you're listening, you are worthy.
Listen, when we were little, when we were kids, when we were toddlers, we didn't care what anybody thought. We would grab a crayon and create a masterpiece. And we were proud of that masterpiece. But little by little, we start growing up and we start listening to the outside noise. And we start convincing ourselves that what they are saying about us is more important and more true than what we think about ourselves. And it really, Linda, what I did is kind of like I did with my garage cleaning up. It was like creating three piles. I'm getting rid of this, I'm keeping this, and I'm fixing this. And that's how I did it, but very little at the time, very intentional. And I stopped being in rooms where I didn't feel comfortable. I stopped looking um, for situations that I knew were not going to fulfill me. I didn't need to be like everybody else. I took a step back from the world and I started just cultivating myself and looking within myself what it is that you need to be happy. And that was right after my divorce. So I really had the possibility to be by myself with my kids, and look within and say, okay, wait, this next chapter is going to be intentional. This is not going to be a default thing that's happening to you. No, no. This is going to be intentional. And every step that I make is going to be intentional. I'm going to have a vision of where I want to be. And I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to create an avatar of Claudia. And I'm going to see what that avatars
I
look
love
like.
that. That's
And I'm going to
beautiful.
see who this avatar hang out with. And what will be the perfect partner for this avatar? And whose friends this avatar is going to have. And as a matter of fact, I use the same thing with my clients because it worked for me. So when I have a client who maybe is an empty nester and she feels lost and she doesn't know what her purpose is anymore because suddenly she doesn't have her kids to worry about or do things with or whatever, and she's in a different place with her partner, maybe she doesn't have a partner and she's totally like, I don't know who I am. That's okay. Let's create your avatar because you might not know who you are right now, but you're damn sure you're going to know who do you want to become or who do you need to unbecome to become that person. So
What,
forget about the past. Let's just move forward.
what is one limited belief or thought that you had to rewrite about yourself?
I'm going to sound very conceited, okay? But I always thought that being beautiful was a problem because people never took the time to really get to know me. I was judged by the cover. And I'm Latin. So I will walk in a room and she has to be stupid too. Because that is just a concept, right? She's a woman, she's Latin, she's pretty, she's stupid. I speak 5 languages. How dare you? So I would dim my light because being pretty was a problem for me. I went to a period of time that I changed the way I was dressing because I didn't want to draw attention. And until I didn't embrace my wholeness, I come with everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So until I didn't make that decision and embrace it. And I'm like, okay, my smile is gonna open a door. Awesome. My brain is gonna keep it open. So I'm gonna utilize everything that God gives me to achieve what I want to achieve for myself.
Mm.
But for the longest time, I thought that being attractive or being pretty was a bad thing.
I love that. And I will add to that a little bit. Watching Elizabeth Smart, are you familiar with the case?
Mm-hmm.
And seeing recently that she's doing some competitions. And
Mm-hmm.
I so related to what she said because I went through a similar experience where you really are, you're not, it's not a sexualized thing when you're competing. People have they're misunderstanding it completely.
Mm-hmm.
And for her, I get that it was not being ashamed of who she is.
She was
Like
claiming her
she
beauty.
was claiming her beauty. The guy tried to, I can't think of the word, but just
He tried
totally
to erase her. He
erase,
tried to erase. Oh, sorry.
make her feel, basically
My dogs
used,
were nuts. I'm so
abused,
sorry.
shamed, all of the things. And so it was more about, this is my body and I'm not ashamed of it. Like I control my body, you know.
I apologize. They never do this. They're super good at this. I have shows in my studio all the time, but I guess somebody's right outside the door.
It's
Anyway,
totally fine. It might get edited, but sometimes my editor misses things.
no, that's okay. But yeah, you're absolutely right. She tries to, he tried to annul her. She was just a body that he needed
Exactly.
and
Yes.
didn't see anything
Yes.
beyond that. And listen, I have a daughter who competed in WBFF
I did
for a period
too.
of time.
Okay.
Yeah. And she got her pro card, and she in the world competition she ended up in 8th place. It was beautiful. Excuse me. And there were people telling me, how, why are you letting her do that? Hold on 1 second. I can. I have a husband who doesn't read the room. Because I said to him, I am going to do an interview, and he has the fumigator guy right outside my door.
Well, that's okay.
Unbelievable.
We're getting almost done.
I
So
I apologize, Linda. This never happened before, and I was making sure that he knew that I was gonna be here. I usually don't do recordings on this day, so it's not used to it. But thank you. I'm so
he's not
sorry.
used to the schedule. How do you set boundaries without guilt, especially with people you love?
I'm very clear with my word. I don't know if you have heard about the 4 agreements. I
Oh
follow
yeah,
them.
I've read that book. Yes.
I follow them. I don't take anything personal. I am very clear with my word. I don't assume. And I do my best. That's how I set my boundaries. And for me, they're policies. And I am very clear of, especially I'm 59 years old, so I'm very clear at this point in my life how I want my life to look like, how I want to wake up in the morning, how I want to feel about myself. And I don't negotiate that. And my feelings are not up for debate. Even when I have conversations with my husband or with my friends, these are my feelings. I am not telling you how I feel so you can give me your opinion or you can go look for evidence to see if my feelings are right.
Oh,
These are my feelings. You don't get to tell me how I feel. I can hear your feedback and maybe I'll feel different afterwards, but you don't get to debate if my feelings are right or wrong. So I'm very intentional with my policies. And I didn't do that for many, many years when I was younger. Because again, I have the limiting belief that if I was a squeaky wheel or if I was a broken record, people were not going to like me. And of course, I wanted to be liked and loved. So I'm not going to go there. I'm going to be this person that they want me or they expect me to be. So that limiting belief is doesn't exist anymore. And what you said earlier about the masterpiece, I believe so. I believe that we are all a piece of a masterpiece, that God has created us perfect. And we're here in this world to learn lessons, to become a better version of ourselves. But we are already enough and we're worthy of everything that we want, just the way we are. There is nothing to prove.
love that. How can women reconnect with who they truly are underneath instead of everything society has told them to be?
You start asking questions and getting curious. That's how I did it for me. I got curious. Why I'm not comfortable with this crowd? What's missing? Am I shrinking? Am I not being authentic? Like, there are two voices in your brain. You have the Divine Mother, which is the nurturing, loving part of you, and then you have the assessing priestess, which is the one that holds you accountable. So when the one that is holding you accountable comes to your mind and says, that's not true, you didn't do that, you are not authentic, listen, because that's an opportunity to bring yourself to the next level. If you ignore it, you're going to be in the same place because you're not going to learn anything. There's going to be no growth.
What about for somebody that feels powerless today because they have shrunk so much? They have forgotten who they truly are. What kind of advice would you give them to start booting back to themselves?
Even if you don't have the possibility to hire a coach, the resources right now are endless. You can listen to people on Instagram, you can listen in YouTube, the people that can inspire you. And start bringing areas of your life where you are living in scarcity. But you got to start feeding your brain with yummy stuff, not with crumbs. So you can start recognizing the patterns that you have in your life. Nobody's going to come and knock at the door and say, hey, Linda, do you want to feel better about yourself? I heard that you're stuck. That's not going to happen. So we need to make the first step. We need to make the choice of going and saying, you know what? I'm unhappy. I feel stuck. I'm going to start resourcing what's available for me that is free, that I can start learning from. Find somebody you admire. See that person, how that person got where she is, what kind of books she reads or recommend, what kind of lifestyle that person has. It has nothing to do with money. Maybe that person get up in the morning and take a walk. Maybe that person meditate 3 times a week. There are little things, little habits that you can start implementing or bring into your life that are gonna start moving the needle. You don't delete a habit, right? You replace it. So if you have a habit that is keeping you stuck, then think about changing that habit. What can you do instead? Let's say your habit is staying in the phone for 2 hours at a time, scrolling Instagram. Do yourself a favor. Set an alarm clock. 10 minutes, enough. You got your little dopamine up? Fine. Now use the other 2.5 hours to do something that is going to bring you to where you want to be, to the vision that you have for yourself. But those are all little steps. And I think everybody can take those steps.
Claudia, this has been such a powerful reminder today that you don't have to shrink to be accepted and that you were never meant to fit into a box somebody else created, and you're meant to stand fully in who you are. What can you give everybody today so they can get a little piece, a little tidbit of what your coaching is, and how can they find you on social media, order your books, all the things?
I am in social media. My name, Claudia Noriega-Bernstein. My website is the same. I am an inner abundance coach. So what I do is I help you discover the things that are already within you, that you are not seeing. I bring you from fear to desire, because fear is nothing but face everything and rise. We just have put too much power into fear. And the second thing I would tell the people that are listening is that
Really good.
don't take so personal what people think about you, because your perception of me is a reflection of you. So simple as that. You don't like
So
me,
yes, that's
there
so
might
true.
be a part in you that needs to be looked at, because we don't dislike people for no reason. We are all mirrors. And if you feel high or attracted or aligned with somebody, get curious about that person, because that might be your roadmap to become that person that you're meant to be.
Well, this was so good. I enjoyed you so much. I love all the things that make you Claudia,
Thank
because
you.
I love the burnt toast and putting yummy things into yourself and just all the things that you said. If this episode spoke to you guys, share it with another woman who needs to hear this message today. And as always, keep showing up, keep doing the work, and keep stepping into the strongest version of you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay, that's a
Thank you,
wrap.
Linda. And I apologize. I mean, I can't believe they went crazy like that.
No, I literally could not hear them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
Good.
don't think it's on the recording,
Well,
but
I have my microphone right here and it's pretty powerful. So I think it's
okay.
just
It
getting my
might have picked
voice.
up, but I did
Mm,
not hear it on my end.
okay, good.
Yeah. Sometimes we think like, oh, somebody like, why are
I
they
know. I'm
cutting
like, what are
trees
you doing right
outside
outside
my
my door?
door
Like, are you kidding me? My
at all
gosh.
times?
And I actually, before I came to see you, I said, I gotta go because I have an interview. So, do
And
you
they
need it in
didn't
writing?
listen.
Oh, God. Man,
Men,
whatever.
kids, dogs, neighbors. No. Well, I enjoyed you. I really got to go, but I just really enjoyed you so